Single dad picked up the wrong woman at the airport, but the CEO said, "I've been looking for you." The moment Ethan Ward realized he had grabbed the wrong woman's suitcase, the airport lights flickered overhead as if the universe itself had paused, waiting to see what fate would do next. He stood frozen in the middle of Terminal 3, clutching an unfamiliar emerald green suitcase, while his 7-year-old daughter Lily tugged at his jacket, whispering, "Dad, I think that's not ours." In that split second, everything in his life, the unpaid bills, the lost job, the sleepless nights, felt as if they were colliding with this one unexpected mistake. And when the woman he accidentally picked up the luggage from turned around, her eyes locking with his, Ethan had no idea that this single moment of confusion would lead him straight into the life of a CEO who would say the words that would flip his world upside down. "I've been looking for you." If you believe in kindness, second chances, and unexpected miracles, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to K and H Stories. Your support helps us bring more emotional stories like this to life. Ethan Ward had always lived carefully, quietly, as if afraid to take up too much space in the world. Being a single dad wasn't something he planned, but life rarely asked for permission. After Lily's mother walked away when Lily was barely 2, Ethan became both anchors of her world, the safe harbor, and the entire ocean. He worked small jobs, lived in a small apartment, and carried big dreams he never had time to chase. He tried to be strong, even on days when exhaustion pushed heavily against his bones. But that morning, standing inside the crowded airport, the weight of life felt heavier than usual. He was supposed to pick up a client for a one-day side job he'd snagged, driving for a corporate event. The income would barely cover groceries, but Ethan took everything he could. Lily clung to his hand, wearing her little yellow backpack decorated with the stickers she proudly collected. Ethan squeezed her gently, trying to look confident even though he was terrified of messing up. But fate had a strange sense of humor. In the rush of people, noise, and rushing baggage carts, Ethan mistakenly grabbed the wrong suitcase, a suitcase belonging to a woman he had never seen before. She was elegant yet looked exhausted, dressed in simple travel clothes with a grace that made her stand out even in the chaotic airport crowd. When she turned, her eyes full of surprise, Ethan felt his breath catch. Her name was Ava Sterling, though he didn't know it yet. Her surprise shifted to softness when she saw Lily. Instead of anger, she seemed more curious, even relieved in a way. Ethan apologized repeatedly, flustered, embarrassed, ready to shrink and disappear. But Ava only smiled gently and told him it was okay. A simple mistake. They exchanged their luggage, and Ethan thought that was the end of it, just a moment of awkwardness in his messy life. But minutes later, everything changed again. Ethan found the person he was supposed to pick up, a stern-looking woman in a charcoal business suit who introduced herself stiffly as Ms. Clark. She inspected him carefully, displeasure already forming in her expression, as if his very existence annoyed her. Ethan felt small under her gaze, but he forced a smile for Lily's sake. They started walking toward the exit, but just before reaching the doors, a voice cut through the air, firm, commanding, and unmistakably familiar. "Ethan Ward." Ethan froze. Lily looked up at him. He turned slowly. Ava Sterling stood there, but this time there was a new air around her, a presence, a quiet authority. And behind her, several men in black suits rushed forward, addressing her with absolute respect. "Ms. Sterling, your car is ready." "Ms. Sterling." The Ava Sterling, CEO of Sterling Global, one of the youngest and most influential CEOs in the country. She was the woman he had almost bumped into just moments ago, the same woman whose suitcase he had accidentally taken. Ethan's heart dropped, not because he had been rude to her, she hadn't seemed bothered, but because powerful people never brought good news into his world. But Ava stepped toward him, her expression unreadable yet softened by something warm. Ms. Clark stiffened beside him, clearly scrambling to understand what was happening. Ava spoke before anyone else could. "I've been looking for you." The entire airport seemed to fade into silence. Ethan blinked, believing he'd misheard. Looking for him? Impossible. He was a nobody, a single father who could barely afford rent, someone life forgot to favor. But Ava meant it. She explained that she had noticed how he cared for Lily, how he handled stress, how he remained gentle even while overwhelmed. She mentioned overhearing his conversation with the event organizer about his financial struggles, not in an intrusive way, but with genuine concern. And then she told him something that made his knees weaken. Her company had been searching for a reliable driver and assistant, someone who could be trusted, someone consistent, someone who understood responsibility from the heart. She had seen dozens of interviews, but none felt right. Until him. Ms. Clark looked horrified, Ethan looked shocked, Lily looked confused but hopeful. Ava offered him an opportunity, a job, a position, a chance, a real one. She handed him her card and said calmly, "Think about it. I don't make offers twice." The moment she walked away, the world felt different. Possibility lingered in the air like the first drop of rain after a long, dry season. Ethan held the card, hands trembling. He wasn't used to good things. He wasn't used to being seen. He and Lily left the airport with a strange blend of excitement and fear swirling around them. Ethan barely spoke during the drive home. He kept replaying everything in his mind, trying to believe it wasn't a dream. Over the next few days, life continued its usual chaos. The landlord knocked for rent. Lily's school sent home a notice for overdue fees. Work hours were reduced again. Ethan felt trapped between hope and impossibility. Taking a job under a CEO felt overwhelming, like stepping into a world he didn't belong in. He feared messing up and losing everything. But every night he looked at Lily's sleeping face and knew he had to try. Not for him, for her. When he finally gathered the courage to call Ava Sterling, he expected a secretary to brush him aside. Instead, Ava herself answered, as if she had been waiting. She scheduled an in-person meeting the next morning. Ethan barely slept. The next day he arrived at Sterling Global holding Lily's hand. The towering glass building intimidated him. Everything felt too polished, too perfect, too unattainable. People in suits glanced at him with curiosity, some with judgment. But Ethan kept walking. Ava greeted him in the lobby. She knelt down to greet Lily first, her voice warm and genuine, and something in Ethan softened instantly. Ava wasn't just powerful, she was kind. She explained the job with clarity. The pay was more than Ethan had ever earned. Benefits, stability, a future. Lily would even get support for school. It sounded unreal, too good to be true. Ethan accepted the job that day. The next weeks became a turning point in his life. He learned quickly, worked hard, and proved himself reliable. Ava, despite her intimidating role, remained patient, encouraging, even protective. She praised his efforts, corrected his mistakes gently, and ensured he never felt out of place. Ethan found himself smiling more, sleeping better, breathing easier. And Lily adored her. She drew pictures for Ava, waited eagerly for her visits, and filled her sketchbook with little moments of their days together. Ava always thanked her, always listened, always made her feel seen. Slowly, Ethan and Ava's worlds began to intertwine. Not romantically, not yet, but emotionally, quietly, like two people learning how to trust again after life had broken them in different ways. Ethan learned that Ava had grown up without a stable family, building her empire from scratch. Her strength was forged through loneliness and resilience. She understood struggle, even if hers looked different. Ethan felt safe with her in a way he didn't expect, and Ava felt something around him she didn't feel around anyone. Peace. But good things always come with storms. One evening, after a long workday, Ethan overheard two executives speaking cruelly about him, calling him a charity case, mocking Ava for hearing a nobody with a child. Their words sliced through him. Ethan left before Ava could see the hurt in his eyes. He went home feeling like he didn't belong. He told himself he would resign. Ava deserved someone better, someone polished, someone who didn't drag baggage figuratively and literally everywhere he went.